when you look at Volkanovski, I think what makes him great is his intelligence. It's his ability to analyze a fighter. And of course, we need to include his team in that process. And it's his ability to execute when he needs to. I think what set him back was the fact that he didn't really have the ability to really do that on a training level in that fight against Makhachev. We do, of course, need to talk about that knockout. What did that do to him? For me, I don't see it as so much of a concern from a physical standpoint, because this isn't a guy who's been knocked out once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times already. That's been the only time that we've seen him knocked out. And I don't think it's gonna be a major problem here. I think, and from a confidence standpoint, do I expect Volkanovski to be short on confidence heading into this fight? Absolutely not. The guy is good everywhere. It seems like he always has a perfect game plan. And then he always knows how to not only beat you, but also finish you and have you regret, you saying what you said and even challenging him in the first place. From everyone who's worked with Volkanovski, they say he's probably very underrated as a grappler and one of the strongest dudes they've ever trained with. So Volkanovski has all that going for him. Topuria has all of that as well. What he doesn't have is the same level of experience. This is going to be his first fight as a 5-rounder, right, in the UFC. Just like what we saw with Pyfer and all that stuff, that can be a concern. When you go into those championship rounds for the first time, it is a whole new ball of wax. So, but we have seen Topuria in trouble in fights. We have seen him fight at 155. We've seen him all over the place and experience a lot of different things. The variety of opponents that he's faced, grapplers, wrestlers, strikers, he's kind of seen it all, and he's answered those questions extremely well with flying colors. So this is an undefeated fighter that, for me, is the truest threat to the throne when it comes to Volkanovski. So every time we see Topuria, he always seems to bring in this new set of skills. Like, I didn't know he could do that. I didn't know he could do this. Yeah. I didn't know he could do that. The guy's a problem. He really is. He's a problem everywhere. So if he does encounter adversity, which he certainly will against someone like Volkanovski, I see him responding to that adversity very, very well. But for Volkanovski, man, again, this is a guy that many thought was the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. He's certainly up there in the top 2 or 3. And if I see this kind of value from a betting perspective, I got to be leaning towards Volkanovski here. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to have a lot of gas in the tank. I think he's going to be extremely motivated, and not only to shut up Ilia Topuria, but to remind everybody of why people were calling him the best fighter on the planet, pound for pound. So leaning towards Volkanovski here. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. If Topuria is able to win this one, then my goodness, I see him holding on to this belt for a long time. The other thing I want to mention, and Dan Tom mentioned this earlier, was the other concern for me is the fact that he does lean to a certain side a lot, either to bait you into kind of countering you, or he'll lean a little bit too far forward when he's looking for that body shot, when he's looking for that liver shot, which he loves to throw. His left hook downstairs and upstairs is a problem. So Volkanovski has to be aware of that. But the way to solve that is you basically you take your kick and you just run it right through him. And I think Volkanovski is going to see that. He's going to look for that kick often to try to knock out Topuria. And then the other thing, yes, Topuria is going to be a little bit taller, something that he doesn't experience very often in that division. But Volkanovski has that long-ass reach, man. And you can't forget about that either. So I like Volkanovski in this spot slightly. But man, is this going to be an amazing fight?